Hello everyone. I wanted to make this video as a reflection about what's happening in the country, in the world, in my community, I'm sure in your community. I debated whether to make this. I am not as well versed in many of these issues as so many young people are. And so, just start off with some background on my situation for those of you that may not know me personally, and I know there are plenty of you that do that watch this, and I'm very thankful for that. There are also maybe some who don't. So I was studying at university, my first year at University of California, Santa Cruz, and the COVID pandemic hit, and I had to return home for quarantine back to my parents' house in Marin County. And returning has been a journey on its own. I mean, I left for college, which everyone, which is traditionally an odyssey. It's a long journey and a big time of growth and independence. And just as I was feeling that, just as I was getting into the real spirit of university, I had to come home, as did everyone. And so I returned home, and where I live in Marin County, it's a very affluent, it's a very white county. It's the second smallest county in California, and it has long been a bastion for suburban NIMBYism, protectionism, and sort of shutting off and distancing of quote-unquote others. And I've grown up knowing this a little bit, but it really hit me going away. It really hit me going away to university, meeting so many different people of different backgrounds and hearing their experiences and their communities. So that was something that preceded all of this. Marin is, in my experience, for a young person of 19 years old, it's a very gilded, extremely gilded, beautiful palace garden. That's how I describe it. It's a palace garden. On paper, for young people, for like kids, young kids, and for adults and old people, it has pretty much everything you want. I mean, it has excellent schools. It has beautiful hills and nature trails that I just personally love. Right outside my door, lovely trails. And that it's safe. It's expensive. It's not particularly diverse. It's pretty segregated. And all of those things really add to this sense of good on paper, but in practice, not necessarily what's best for a young person. And that I've been acutely aware of through this quarantine. And that preceded any of this. I'm not going to go over the events because everyone knows what happened. Really potent examples that I've taken away from this have been the utter militarization and brutality of police. And I have some reflections on that and some tactics that I'm personally going to employ, and I wish to share with you about how through simple dialectical changes we can produce something good. Starting off with the term bad apples is completely out of my lexicon. It's out. Not using it. I see this term as deeply othering, as a way to push the blame of systemic and deep-rooted oppression onto individual people, which are the agents of which carry out the systemic oppression. So the term, it's just some bad apples, or police departments across the nation condemning the 4 Minneapolis police officers as bad apples, as not representational of our officers, that is deeply troubling. And I'm not going to say the term bad apples in any application because of the othering of it. And it just deeply reflects an experience that I see as troublesome. Another term I'm going to stop using is good cop or bad cop. They're cops. There should not be a thing. There should not be the word good cop. That shouldn't be a thing. Just like there's not good pilots. They're not good doctors. There are doctors that do their job, which requires intense practice, focus, meticulous actions and behavior. And there are pilots, requires years of training and schooling along with doctors, and an intense focus. But this sense of some of them are bad, there's no room for that with police. There is no room. And that's something that I've been acutely called to do. Now, I come from, like I said, a background of deep privilege, of deep benefits, of years of a system that benefits me over my African American brothers and sisters. In instances with my friends in high school, I utterly stood by, did nothing. And that's dangerous. To conclude this, I hope any listeners of this feel compelled to do any help that they can. That if you are able, that you vote, you use your right to vote. You call out oppression when you see it. This is one that I personally need to work on. It's hard for me. There have been instances in this whole time that I have not done what I should do. Remember that Black Lives Matter, Black Voices Matter. Call on those in power, those members of our community that we have given trust to. We need to call on them to faithfully exercise that power. And if they do not, we bully them at the pulpit. We bully them. Thank you.